What's up, everybody? It's Paul in the 619, and you're watching another episode of Conversations with the Community. Woo! So today, I got the homie in the house. I have Phable. He's the host of Blame Phable, the amazing show. It's live stream on Friday nights. Man, he's got an amazing crew. I met some of those guys at HeroesCon. Oh my gosh, the nicest guys. Um, but I'm very excited to have Fable on the show. So without further ado, let me bring in the man. I gotta turn it off before I get monetized. All right, Fable, thank you so much, my friend. Dude, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy man. Sunday's the chill day, and I don't want to interrupt anyone's chill time, but I had to interview the homie. So, Fable. So first off, okay, um, I want to know, how did you get into comic books?
Um, I would say at an early age, I've told this story a few times, but um, like different versions of it. But like, if I really think about it, the first time I really got in contact with a comic book was when I was really young. Your mom used to take you to the supermarket, go shopping and stuff, and they would have these Archie digests right against the checkout. You know what I mean? Where you go to pay for
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
they'd have these little Archie digests, and I would just say my mom for an Archie digest all the time. You know, I didn't care what it was. It was Archie, Jughead, Betty and Veronica. I just had to go home with one of those little books. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I guess that would be my first contact
That's
with
awesome.
them, but it wasn't like I was a collector or anything. I would just, it was just something I wanted when I went to the supermarket. Like, oh, we're going to the supermarket. I'm getting me a new digest.
Awesome. Do you still have those?
No, no, not at all, man.
Yeah.
But then when I was about 8 or 9 years old, somewhere around there, my mom would drop me off at my grandmother's house, right?
Yeah.
And my grandmother used to have this coffee table, and full of magazines, full of TV guide, stuff like that. Um, and and my aunt was like a teenager at the time. She was still living with my grandmother, right? So I don't know if this was her stuff, but on the coffee table there were two issues of Uncanny X-Men, X-Men
Oh,
212 and 213. I'll never forget the numbers. I'll never forget the covers. And I don't know if you're familiar with Uncanny 212, but that's the cover with Wolverine is on it, and he's all flashed up and he's all bloody and
yeah,
blood everywhere. Then the 213 is with him and Sabretooth, like face to face, really
yeah,
close. And
yeah.
I guess it was their first
Classic.
fight, right? But I didn't know that at the time. All I knew was that I never saw anything like that, like as far as like
Oh yeah.
cartoons or comics, like a bloody Wolverine. You know what I mean? All cut up. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And I had always known about superheroes because I mean my first toy was probably an Amazing Spider-Man from Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I watched the Christopher Reeves movies. I was aware of superheroes, but I didn't know what comic books were. I didn't know they came from comic books. I thought they were just toys or cartoons or movies or whatever it was. So
Yeah.
when I seen these comic books, I was like, holy crap. And I read them, or at least I tried to read them, right? Because my reading wasn't so good back then. Um, and that's why I love comic books too, because they helped me learn how to read. Every time I came across a word in the book that I didn't understand, I would go to the Webster Dictionary right away and try to look it up and
Oh,
see
that's
what it meant.
awesome.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um,
That's cool.
and then yeah, shortly after that, I found out I had an uncle that had been collecting comic books for years since he was a kid. And when he found out that I liked comic books, he invited me over to his house and he showed me his collection. And his collection, he had all the Uncanny X-Men. He had Conan. He had all the great Marvel and DC stuff. And he'd tell me, go ahead, pick whatever you want, read whatever you want. If
Wow.
if 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 I could, I'll give them to you. and it just started right there, man. My love for comic
Very cool. Wow. Um, so what inspired you to do comic book content on YouTube?
books. Actually, I didn't want to do content at all, to be real honest with you.
Yeah.
Um, when I first got to Instagram, well, when I first started collecting again, I collected as a kid and a teenager, but around 14, 15 years old, I kind of got priced out of it, right? Because comic books went from being like 75 cents to like $2 and change, right? In
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 years. It was really quick. Like that image
Yeah. It's
boom,
a
all
big.
that shit.
Oh yeah, it's a big price hike.
Yeah, it went up really big, and I wasn't working. My allowance was nothing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No.
and plus I was getting into high school, so girls, and social circles, and all that kind of stuff. So kind of dropped it. But when I got back into it, in 2019, um, I just wanted to show them all. I didn't have anybody around that really I could talk to about comic books. Like nobody I know, like personally, friends or family, are into this stuff. They're not really nerds.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Same here.
Yeah. So I said, you know what? And I didn't like Instagram as well because for me, Instagram was like people doing this, taking pictures of
Yeah.
themselves like 100 times, and I hate the camera. Okay.
Yeah. No, I understand.
So but I said, you know what? If I take pictures of something, I could take pictures of these comic books.
Yes.
Maybe I'll get friends, I'll get followers that like the same thing, and then we can. That's how I can talk to people about comic books. And in doing that, you go down the YouTube rabbit hole, right? Like you start searching people that's
Yeah.
doing the content on YouTube. There's got to be somebody doing this shit on YouTube, so look that up. Found Robbie, Pop Culture Philosophers, found his
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
eventually, and then in the chat, there's a whole bunch of guys in the chat that I became friends with, and I eventually said, "Yo, Instagram. You guys have Instagram?" And they're like, "Yeah." So, formed a little back, how everybody has a little chat on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
And found out a lot of those guys and a lot of my friends that I was happy to meet. They were all like kind of starting YouTube channels. Like that's what they were doing. Like a lot of them. Nick, Nick, when I met Nick, he only had 3 episodes up on YouTube.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stu had not started yet. Um, uh, 9 Pound Grid Eric hadn't started yet. You know what I mean? A lot of these guys, that was what they wanted to do, and they were in the process of making that happen. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'll be there. I'll support you guys. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
for
No.
me, I don't feel like I have that personality, right? Like people might tell me, "No, you're good, you're cool," but I'll never feel that about myself, right? Like I have big imposter syndrome. I'm like,
Well, this is the thing with you, Fable. The thing is that you have a great personality. You're lovable.
thank you.
People gravitate toward you. So I could see why your show is so popular, and you have the guys that you have on your show, and it's cool because when you watch your show, everyone brings something to the table. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not saying that every show has a weak link, but you guys don't have a weak link. I
Oh, thank
mean,
you.
and it's very enjoyable to watch. So how long has your Blame Fable show been on the air?
Well, that's what I was getting to with starting the content. These guys were doing their YouTube, and they just kept like peer pressuring me, kind of like, "You should do something. You should do something. You should do something." And I'm like, "No, I'm very happy just watching you guys do your thing and supporting you guys and promoting you guys on my Instagram if I can." So then one day I was like, you know what? Okay, screw it. I'll do something, but I'm not gonna do it on YouTube because YouTube already has so many amazing content creators. There's no way I'm gonna be able to like get followers or views with all these great people out there, right? Like I'm not even trying to compete with these guys. So I'll do it on Instagram on the low or whatever. And I just started going live one day and I started just throwing off my Wednesday Warrior stuff, my weekly hauls. Like, oh look, I got this, and I
Yeah.
would invite people to jump on the live with me and stuff like that.
And then people started.
And then it started happening. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
started seeing that number grow. I started seeing more people. Hey, if you go on next week, I want to jump on with you. And people were just, and I was just meeting people that way. And then 2 years ago, um, I felt like Instagram was a little limiting. It didn't really let you
Yeah.
create, right?
Yeah.
So
Hmm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm gonna do YouTube. Screw it, I'll do it. If the Instagram went well, maybe the YouTube will go well. And I asked my brother Nick, who, remember, I told you when I met him, he only had 3 shows. Now this is Nick. This is the Nick that we
Yeah.
we all know
Nick
and love.
comic
He's,
culture. Yeah.
yeah, like
Oh
four
yeah.
6,000 followers. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Hmm.
Doing his
Yep.
thing on a weekly basis. I asked him to be my co-host, and he's my buddy. He said, "Yeah, of course
Yeah.
I'll be your co-host." And that's how we started, man. And it's been a blast ever since.
So okay, Fable. I'm gonna say this because if I don't say it, I'm gonna forget. So Heroes Con, 2 years. I'm not gonna go next year, but I plan to go again to Heroes Con in 2 years. Me and Real Rude, we're saving up our nickels, you know. So when that the not what is it? Not two 2026, 2027. And I would hope that you would be there because man, I would love to meet you in person. And that's the thing, when you go to these cons, it just has a different meaning now, because you get to meet your homies from the community, So 2 years, man. I hope to see you there, bro. And
Yeah,
I'll
I'm
have Rude
trying,
with
bro. I'm
me.
trying.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm saying, dude, I hear you, bro. The thing with me is, and I know you're the same way. I try to stay in my lane, but sometimes, man, I want to just drive off the road, and then I get scared and come back. I was like, oh fuck, what am I doing? But so okay, let me ask you some more questions. Okay, so as far as a character in comic books, cartoons, movies, or in literature, what character do you relate to the most?
I would have to say the introvert, I guess, right? Like the person
Yeah.
who talks to no one, but really, you know what I mean? It's scared into it a lot of the time, but finds their footing eventually.
Yeah.
Um, my favorite X-Men, the one I relate to the most, the one I grew up reading and made me a big fan, was Kitty Pryde,
Oh
right?
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, because Kitty Pryde was just starting out in the X-Men,
Yeah.
and in Marvel Universe, the mutants are the outcasts, right? And as a nerdy kid, at least where I grew up, you kind of feel like an outcast, liking comic books and liking video games and toys and stuff like that, right? Like
Yeah.
some
Hmm.
people would get made fun of that kind of thing. So, her being in this new world of outcasts and them letting her know, no, you're not alone. We're all just like you.
Yeah.
Kind of was like a sanctuary book for me, like seeing her adventures and her growing as a person. And now she's a total badass. You know what I mean? So
Oh
I
yeah.
would probably relate to characters that are mostly like her, probably.
Oh wow. Great answer. So well, uh, I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyways. What do you collect besides comics?
Right now I do video games and toys. I actually was like a video game head way before comic head. Like,
Yeah.
I got a Nintendo. My mom, I used to have a bike, right? And I love my bike. And one day my mother gave away my bike to one of the
What?
kids in the neighborhood. Yeah, because she felt bad for him. His family
Oh,
was poor. I mean, we all were poor, but I guess he was like very poor, and she felt bad for him. And she felt like she didn't see me on the bike enough, I guess. So she gave it away to him. And man, I made her feel like crap. I was like, "You gave away my bike? Are you out of your mind?" I don't know. I don't know that she's trying to do a
yeah.
good thing.
Yeah.
So that
You know
Christmas,
now though. You know
yeah,
now though. Yeah.
So that Christmas when I was 5 years old, the Nintendo Entertainment System had just came out, man. The Super Mario Brothers. And she bought it for me. The one that came with the robot. I don't know if you
Oh yeah.
remember. She bought
Oh
me
yeah.
that whole setup, and I was in love with
Wow.
video games ever since. So I've been collecting video games, or at least getting games since I was very young, very young. And then recently, because of this freaking community, the toys came into play, right? Like, I never was into buying toys like that. I never had many growing up, so I don't have that love and nostalgia for a lot of figures. You know how kids
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I used to have that when I was young."
Oh
I
yeah.
never
I
had
say
that.
that. I say that. I say, oh, I used to have that. Not anymore.
I
Yeah.
I was the kid that didn't have it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I couldn't say, "Oh, I want to get that." But one thing that I did love when I was a kid was Transformers, that
Yeah.
cartoon. I adored that cartoon, right? And there was one toy that I would always want is that, but of course those were expensive.
Oh
Even in
yeah.
the '80s, they were expensive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
that
Transformers are expensive.
that's how I ended up getting a lot of GoBots because they were a lot cheaper. And then my mom
Yeah.
used to be like, "They're the same thing. They transform."
That's
Oh, so when people started showing off their cool action figures in the community, I would be just so marveled at them. I'd be like, "Oh my god, those toys are so amazing! Like, they can pose like that. They can do all that cool
oh
stuff."
yeah.
And then I started thinking, "Wait a minute, I can buy that if I want to. I'm an adult. I
That's what I
don't have the
say,
money."
dude. That's the cool thing about buying stuff when when you were little that you wanted. Now that you're an adult, you have adult money, and you know you could buy those things at a certain point, and that's pretty cool. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, man, and I said, "Well, is Transformers still around?" And little did
Oh
I
yeah,
know, Transformers is actually not only around, but
yeah,
coming out with some of the best stuff they've ever come out with
yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
in 30 years. And
Yep.
I went full in, man. I just dived in, started getting every Transformer that I had ever wanted, which is all of them.
Well, the thing is the scale of those can be giant. I know
Yeah,
you could get like transformer like this, but then you could get a transformer that's like
big ones.
big
Yeah.
boys. Yeah,
Mhm.
so woo, that's
Yeah.
amazing. All right, so okay, did you have any comic book goals for the year? Did you set yourself any goals?
Um, Actually, okay, so I was pretty hardcore Wednesday Warrior, right? Like when I
Yeah.
first
Mhm.
got in, I dove
Oh yeah,
in really hard. Like I would get at least 30, maybe even 40 books a week. So we're talking about
that's a lot.
about 400, maybe even $500 a month in comic books,
That's a
right?
lot of money.
If I saw a variant that I like, I would get the A cover, the B cover, the C cover, and I would do
Not at
that
all.
for like 10 different series or 12 different series. I went kind of nuts. So then recently, within the last year, I got into some financial issues. Right, I couldn't really keep that pace. Even though I would love to, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and in the process of breaking away from that habit, I found it kind of freeing. Right? Like there's a freedom in it. I didn't have because I have bad OCD. Like I have to get every number, even if the comic is bad. Like you know what I mean? I
you're a completionist.
Yeah, completionist. Like and that if I can't get every number, if I can't close out a series, it messes with me in the worst way. Um,
I
so when
get
I
it.
finally broke that this year, I felt such a relief. And then when I felt that relief, my goal is now to refine my comic book. So meaning like I want to get rid of a lot of the things that
Yeah,
really don't mean that much to me, that really were like FOMO, OCD kind of buys. You know what I mean? Like I really just want to keep the things that actually mean something to me. So my goal is to shrink my collection, but also to curate it so that it actually represents who I am. You know what I mean?
nice, nice. Well, I gotta tell you, you know what screwed up my collection? I bought two collections in 1 year. I bought two collections, and it's there were some bangers in there, but the majority of it was stuff I didn't collect.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I feel you on that because there's definitely books that um, I could lose and it wouldn't affect me as far as like my collecting, but it would definitely free up some room,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, so I totally understand that. Um, so as far as like collecting, is there anyone else in your family that collects?
No, not really. I mean, my wife, she she's kind of into Harry Potter, so she wants, every time she goes out and she sees some Harry Potter something,
Oh, Harry
she
Potter's
wants to
dope.
pick it up. You know what I mean? But it's not like she's like looking up pre-orders and things like that. She's not looking at cutoffs and all of that stuff. But no, not really. It's just really me.
Nice. Well, that's the thing. Like you said earlier, that's one of the reasons why you started doing Instagram and YouTube is they get connected to people, like-minded people that collect what you collect. And
Mhm.
the thing is that another thing about YouTube, like your show, a lot of the guys that I'm friends with now are guys that I met on your show.
No.
Um, Nick, a
Yeah.
Stu, a Nine Panel. I even met, and the funny thing is that I met Steve, Hip Hops and Me, because he likes action figures too. So, and he would also like on Figgy Friday, he
Yeah.
put Figgy Friday, and I said, "Oh, that's dope." And then he'd be like, "Oh, thanks." And then we struck up a conversation. And the funny thing is, he's from San Diego,
Yeah.
the area. So yeah,
Mhm.
no, that's the thing about you, Fable. What I love about your show is that you bring people together. It's always positive, and then even on when there's stuff like some stuff controversy, you always spin it to make it a good thing,
Yeah.
and you're definitely one of the good guys in the hobby, and
Thank you.
I'm proud to be your friend. So
Oh,
thank you so much, Fable.
yeah.
Um, we are kind of running out of time. It's funny because we could talk probably another hour. But yeah,
I'm
that was
sorry. I should have just said X-Men. Then that's it. Transformers.
no, no, I love it. I love it that it's been because usually when it goes fast, that means you're having a good time, and I'm having a
Yeah.
good time. But I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna um give tell you some wrap up questions, and then we'll end the interview. All right. So, are there any writers or artists you're a fan of that you have met?
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh, that's
Daniel Warren Johnson. I'm a big, big fan of his. He's probably my favorite creator, and I got to meet him at Midtown Comics with Big Herm, which is another co-host of mine. We both
Oh
live in
yeah,
New
Big
York.
Herm. That's another guy. That's another
Yeah,
guy. Yeah,
yeah.
Big Herm, dude.
We were,
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. Thank you.
yeah. And what kind of luck is it that Daniel Warren Johnson ended up doing a Transformers comic for Image?
It's
It
meant to
was
be.
just like, oh my
It's
god,
meant to be.
this is meant to be.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I like about Daniel Warren Johnson too? He puts a lot of feeling in his writing, and it's not the Transformers you've seen on TV as a little kid. This is like Transformers as adults, and I love how it's progressed to that, and because we it's more relatable to us because the thing is that we're adults now,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, no, Daniel Warren Johnson, yeah, he's amazing. Um, are there any creators you haven't met that you want to meet?
I want to meet Jonathan Hickman if I can.
Yeah,
Jonathan Hickman has become like my favorite writer of comic
yeah.
books. Everything that I read from him, I absolutely love. His Ultimate Spider-Man that he's doing right now is fantastic. So anything that Jonathan Hickman touches, I would love to meet him and get some stuff signed if I could.
What is it? Is he doing Imperial?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. Issue 2 came out this week. I have yet to go to my LCS. I have to go later today and pick up my
Mhm.
books. But Imperial, amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. No, first issue, second issue, I'm getting today, and as soon as I get it, I'll probably read it in the car. So but
Aliens
yeah,
versus Avengers. Aliens versus
yeah,
Avengers. He
no,
did.
dude.
Yeah,
No, I'm
fantastic.
telling you, yeah,
Hmm.
he actually does the big event books. Man,
Hmm.
he knows it's epic when he
Yeah.
writes. Okay, so the last question I'm going to ask you before we head out is, where do you see yourself in 5 years, as far as like the being on YouTube, being a collector?
Um. Well, the YouTube thing, I have no aspirations for. It's just something I at least I try to keep it to being a friend hangout thing. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah. Mhm.
I just use it to. It's an excuse to hang out with you guys, to hang out with you guys in the community, to
Yeah.
get you on the show, to interact with the people in the chat. I don't care about subs or views, or you know what I mean. Even though sometimes I do look at it and I'm like, oh look, I got this many or I got that many. It's not my goal.
It's not the goal, yeah.
It's not my goal. My goal is to one day own a shop.
Oh
Um,
shit.
and that has been that was the goal since day one. My name here, one collection down. That's actually the name of the store that I want to own. Right? That's
Oh,
how that
wow.
came about. Because if you break down the name OCD, right?
Oh,
Because
dude,
I think a lot of our collectors have a little bit of that. So I was
dude.
like, how do I take OCD and turn it into something comic book related? It's like one collection down. That'll be the name of the store. I'll have the O big, C big, the D big. You know what I mean? It's just like a play on words. But that's always been my goal, is to open a hobby shop. And sell the things that we all love, man. The toys, the games, the comics, all of it. I love it all.
Oh, dude, oh man, dude, that would be my LCS right there, Fable. Man, I'm telling you, bro, I'd go there every day.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
Yeah, well
okay,
that's the point. Like, go into Instagram, meet a bunch of people, open a shop, get those people that I've met to come help me try to, spread the word for the show. It's all like a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
symbiotic thing. So yeah,
I
no,
like
for
it. I
sure,
like
man.
it. Amazing, amazing. Well, Fable, again, I want to thank you for your time. Oh my God, that was an amazing interview. Dude, you're like one of my homies in the hobby, and again, you're one of the good guys, dude.
Thank
And
you, man.
so before we get out, is there anything you want to plug or say?
Well, I'm starting to do the movie review thing. Robbie, my big bro, the one who welcomed me into Pop Culture Philosophers. He's a big
Yeah,
movie file, cinema file like me. We both love blocky '80s horror movies. So I'm starting to do a lot of movie reviews. We're doing something called Action Fest right now.
yeah.
We're reviewing
Saw that.
action movies. Yeah. On his channel coming up, we're doing Hard Target with Van Damme on Monday at
Yeah,
9 p.m. Eastern on his channel, and then Tuesday on my channel 9 p.m. Eastern, we're doing True Romance, another great action movie from the '90s that I love. So yeah, go check that out. Of course, we're doing the bags boards and badass women on the Blaine Fable show. So I'm having all the ladies of the comic book community join me each week. We just had
okay.
Sheena from Melanin and Manga. We had
Yep.
Candice Barbosa from the Omni X-Men crew. And this week we're having Lady Fantastic. So yeah, check that out. We got Madam coming up in the future. And I would end it with the thing I always tell everybody: be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Nation.
Yeah. So, as like my friend said, um, you know, everyone, you guys take care. As always, peace, and we'll see you on the next interview. Everyone, take care.